for lifestyle change, it is more important for patients to understand that consistency is more important. Your body start doing it. Like I was doing Pilates 3 times per week, and it was so good. I couldn't do anything else, but I was doing it. Whether I do it in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning before going to the rounds, or doing it. So consistency is extremely important.
So whatever you do, make
Whatever
it
you choose to do,
Yeah.
whatever you choose to do, and whatever works for you, don't undermine anything you do.
Hello, Dr. Rashmi. Hello, Dr. Uday.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. And you both are physicians for 25 plus years. Been practicing for such a long time, and you have seen probably patients from different ages and different backgrounds and everything. Do you see any commonality on of someone who is really healthy? What are the things they do to stay healthy and to stay disease free?
I mean, I'm going to say that it's a lot depends on what you want in your life. Okay, I have seen patients, and there's certain people like Chinese. They are really very particular about their health. They want to live long. They want longevity, and they will do everything. And they listen to everything you tell them carefully. They want to do it. If there's any problem, they'll come back until the whole thing is really happening the way it should happen. So the first thing is your desire to want to improve. If your mindset that you want to have a healthy lifestyle, you want to live long. Living long, according to this, human body is designed to live 100 years. So don't worry about how long you're going to live. You should focus on good quality of the life, how good quality of the life you can provide. Okay. And that's jitna ghee dalenge, how much you put efforts to it, the results will be there. I mean, I see that night and day, the patients who are really taking efforts, making sure they're doing right things, changing their diet to their taste buds again, and making it work for them, and monitoring their medical conditions, silent diseases like diabetes, blood sugar, getting to the goals which are scientifically based, evidence-based to provide the long life and no complications. So it's called quality of life. So it's all up to you, but it is big thing that how much you want to put efforts to it. So and don't take it like, because these are the silent diseases. They're not going to cause any symptoms. So you have to go symptomless and say, this is my preventive health. I don't want to have any surgery. I don't want to do any dialysis. I don't want to get insulin injections. I don't want to be on a large number of pills. So basically it fits down to the therapeutic lifestyle interventions.
So basically being proactive instead of waiting for things to happen. So and as you're saying, it all depends on the person.
And there is so much data for it, and it's really possible to do it. That's one message if I can leave. It is really possible. You have to give it a priority. You have to give it time. You have to say, listen, I'd rather not have a chicken curry today. Instead, I'd rather go to a gym, which is, you can do both. But it's like mindset. We can do very well in things we set our mind. So it's mindset.
Basically, you if you would want to do it, then you would do it. So basically make that desire that I want to do this, I want to maintain healthy. That's what you're saying, right?
You know what I tell my patient, one thing, that trump card, that when we're going to be born and when you're going to die, when they ask me how long I'm going to live, I never answer that question, because all the data, you don't know how much it applies to you. And you're going to live, focus on the quality of the life, longevity will automatically will come.
Automatically. Dr. Uday, what do you think about this?
Okay, everybody knows that we should eat healthy diet, we should exercise, we should minimize stress in our lives. Even though we know all this in theory, it's not so easy to implement all this. So the question is, how do you implement it, and how I try to implement it in my own life. That's what I can say. For example, let's start with diet, which is probably the easiest thing to modify. As they say, you are what you eat. So try to eat healthy food. Okay, healthy and balanced food, especially among Indians, focusing on carbohydrates and high fat,
Sweet.
sweet
Dessert,
or
yeah.
high fat diet is kind of common. So we should try to move slowly towards more healthy kind of diet. For example, vegetables, fruits, nuts, all those things are healthier.
Okay.
Second thing, dieting. There are so many different diets, and up to some extent they all work, but they only work for short periods of time while you are actively pursuing them. Later on, it has been shown that most people regain the weight that they lost while they were actively dieting.
Yeah.
It's not a question of dieting for a short period. It's a question of changing your lifestyle to have a balanced and limited diet and not eating excessively. So as our parents taught us, when you are eating a meal, stop eating before you feel fully satiated. So you don't have to completely fill yourself before you stop eating.
Yeah.
So that's portion control. Reduce the amount of food you eat every time you sit down to eat.
Yeah.
So that instead of having this or that diet and following it for 6 months and then not following it later. Okay. Instead, do portion control always, all your life, and also select healthy food. Exercise, everybody knows exercise is good, but most people don't, including myself, are not keen on doing a lot of strenuous exercise like going to gym, etc. So instead, the good news is every movement counts. Even though you're walking around your home, even that counts. So have an active lifestyle and put in as much strenuous exercise as you can, but at least have a active lifestyle.
So they say, right, heart rate has to go up. Is that really
That's the
important?
strenuous exercise, yes.
Okay.
Heart rate has to go up. That is beneficial. And of course, do it.
Why is it beneficial? I've always been worried
It's
about that.
good for the heart rate going up, strenuous exercise. And it's good for the body in general.
But I sometimes feel like I wanted to ask you that. Sometimes, let's say I'm a person, just to talk about it. Let's say I don't exercise, and suddenly 1 week I decide I'm going to just exercise and then keep my heart rate high. Isn't it has a other way around? Heart is going to be like in a shock state, like she was never doing it, now all of a sudden. So isn't it the adverse reaction?
It can. If that's called stress, distress.
Distress, yeah.
Right. So if you are doing it for a short while, then it leads to distress, and that can lead to adverse outcomes.
So it's better to go like gradually on that?
So training, that's called training. Gradually build up, and that's called eustress. That means it's good. You're gradually building up the exercise and maintaining it, not just doing it for 1 month and then stop doing it. So whatever you do, you want to do long term in terms of dieting as well as exercise.
Okay.
And don't change things too fast and by large amount.
Suddenly,
Instead, gradually build up your exercise and then maintain it. And don't do it if you cannot maintain it. So if you just go to gym for 3 hours one day and then don't go after that, then it's no good. Instead, just do it for maybe even 15 minutes every day. So that's good. But be active all the time. Just all the time. For example, instead of sitting, stand up. In some offices now they have desks, standing desks.
Oh yes.
So people are standing and working on their computer or something.
Standing is better than sitting.
Standing is better than sitting, and it's not strenuous exercise, but it's exercise.
Yeah.
And so all the time in our daily activities, we can do things which are, for example, people are sitting there exercising, straining their muscles, just sitting there. So do something with your bodies all the time. So that that will be counted as exercising, though of course not as much as exercising strenuously on a treadmill or whatever.
So American Heart Association suggests like 50,000 feet per week, which is nothing. I'm surprised how a patient comes out, oh, I'm actually walking 70,000. Walking is really good for you. If you can do aggressive walking, just slow walk is okay. Better than sitting, just walk. But consistently, like 3 times per week, 4 times per week, whenever you can. And even if you can do, some people cannot do any walking because they have stroke or they have but they are still at risk. So the upper body exercise is equally important. It does burn some calories.
So you would say, use your common sense, but again, that's also very tricky sometimes because you're thinking, okay, like sometimes people overwalk and they develop knee issues or start jogging and sometimes
walking basically doesn't lead to knee issues. They had the knee issues anyway. Yes, jogging will lead to knee issues, but walking doesn't stress your joints as much. Of course, anything you do might stress it a little bit, but it's not significant. Walking is one of the best exercises. That's why elderly people should walk. If they cannot jog, they should walk because it doesn't stress their joints.
They also talk about water drinking, and that's also like 8 cups, 8 glasses of water. Does it also affect kidneys if you have so much water? Yes,
that's a very common question for me.
I was like...
So I think sometimes the water drinking is really important, but there is a problem. Some people drink like 8 bottles, 12 ounces. That's too much. You can drink 6 bottles, 8 ounces. That's good enough because your body also produces some water. So don't overkill yourself. And then if you are, let's say, singing, dancing, doing long talk, so you can have sips of water in between. But if you're jogging, you can have it. But usually what I do is I have a 12-ounce bottle, very pretty looking bottle in the office. Every patient asks me, so they remind me. So every time they tell me, drink the water. And so I finish those 2 bottles. And so it's not a chore.
It's not a chore.
You just drink at least minimum 4 or 5.
So 12 you said, so 2 times is 24. Is that good enough?
2 12-ounce bottle, but in addition to tea, coffee.
Yeah, that's another
not
beverage.
Just water only. Like some people will drink 8 bottles.
Yes.
I think I want to emphasize one more thing here is that for lifestyle change, it is more important for patients to understand that consistency is more important. Your body start doing it. Like I was doing Pilates 3 times per week and it was so good. I couldn't do anything else, but I was doing it. Whether I do it in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning before going to the rounds, or doing it. So consistency is extremely important.
So whatever you do,
whatever you choose to do.
Yeah.
Whatever you choose to do and whatever works for you, don't undermine anything you do. Even household work. Now there's a new thing is coming up that we get the ladies to clean the house. That is our exercise. We can do vacuum.
Yeah.
You can do vacuum and it gives you a lot of burned calories and a lot of exercises, cleaning, housing, and all these things.
All these things.
But more important is are you doing it consistently? You did it a really magic, like 3 hours of gym one day, and then you were so tired. The whole month is gone by. That doesn't really make you physiological changes in your body.
I have one last question for both of you. I've seen especially the recent years, there's more stress in life. And it's all over the world. I feel like there's more information, and that's also causing a lot of stress for a lot of people. Not everybody, but some
Especially
people get more
COVID.
stressed than others. How do you control that? Because you do you feel getting stressed is bad for your health first of all,
Absolutely.
and then how do you get out of it? Like how do you manage it?
The stress is really a killer, and it can cause a lot of negative changes in your body. So the stress comes only because we make it happen to ourselves. So
So as a physician, do you feel it
You
is
know-
actually bad, like being stressed? And
it is stressful
It
seeing
is.
like there's one patient in the ICU, one patient in the office. There's a call coming, then a friend is calling, and then somebody's calling. But then you know, for that moment, what's your priority, and you need to just work around that. Your mind will keep selecting which is the most important item here. Now, when I have office hours, over the time I've learned that every time they call me from ICU doesn't mean that I have to right away go there. So you learn over time, and then I tell them, okay, I'm with the patient. What is it an emergency? If not, I will be there at this time.
so basically, what you're saying is that there will
Set up
always
your-
be stress, but you learn to manage
Priorities.
priorities, and
Yes.
that will help.
Yeah, and to reduce stress, one of the things that helps is having good relationships
Okay.
with family members and also with people around you and with everybody.
Yes.
So that minimizes stress. Good relationships are very helpful. Another thing is accepting what is there rather than trying to always modify everything to your specifications and
Okay.
always trying to optimize everything. Instead, if you just were more accepting of what the situation is and then try to improve it, but without being stressed, that can be very helpful. So
That is so important. Relationships, you said, because if you have
Right.
good relationships, if you're not stressed about things that are around you because of people or whatever is happening, you
Right.
can improve them a little bit if you can,
Right.
but don't be stressed about it. And Dr. Rashmi said, okay, you prioritize your tasks.
It automatically happens.
So it
somehow.
automatically manage it. So both the things hand in hand, having good relationships and making sure that
This is
timing things.
something, I would say there was a study done in Harvard. It's very pertinent here to your question. That they did the study for patient 10-year-old or maybe younger, 200-year-old. It was mostly anti-aging, stress reducing. And then they did it for years, and millions of people were enrolled in the study. And the results were, the two most important factors that reduce the stress, and it's like makes you live longer, longevity, and not having memory loss or reduce your risk for Alzheimer's or dementia, is two things most important. The first most important thing is your strong relationship and support from the family.
Okay.
So that was one of the things. And the
Which
second,
is what he was talking.
Yes.
This is great, yeah.
yes, and that's why I'm trying to bring up this. This is backed by. I didn't know that.
Research, yeah.
Yeah, but there is a huge research done by Harvard in that regard. The second thing which is important is your relationships, your social relationship. So it was surprise to them that how many friends you have, or what is your social relationship? Is it healthy social relationship that really makes you different? And
Okay.
for men and women, they said women need one more thing. They need girls nighting out.
Really?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
because the woman, despite the fact you can meet as a couples, but for the woman, there's something about the woman brain or something about the woman hormones that they need their own support group somehow. And I was surprised to get that, but those two are very common in the Indian culture, right?
Did they also talk about men needing something different?
No,
Or it was just
I mean,
with
only thing
women?
I know for men from a book, John Davis or Gray Davis. He's a psychiatrist and he wrote the book Psychologist, and he said, and I read one page of that book, and he said the man needs their own cave.
Oh, wow.
They need a cave, and you let them be having that cave. So when I see
So
women,
that works perfectly, right? Women need to.
yeah, so they need their cave. So let them
That's
be in their
right.
cave. And it was so surprising. I read only one page of that book and it worked. He likes to be on the computer, sitting on the computer. This is my time to go things that I love to do. Let him be in his own cave.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So that is very good. But
So you, both of you really added good pointers here. First thing you said was that, making changes in diet, small changes, being consistent. He also talked about that same thing. And he also talked about exercising, and then whatever you can do, being consistent in that is important, right? Both of you said that. And then if you like doing something, do it, but do it regularly, right? And then for last thing, we talked about stress, and then that was, stress, obviously, you said about prioritizing your tasks. So if there's something more important, you do that first, timeline-wise, right? And then you talked about building relationships, because if you're happy about the people around you, or, there's things are being, and don't try to modify things as much. That is a very good point, because sometimes you want to change everything, and that causes more stress. Like, why isn't he following what I'm saying, or she? Let them do whatever and try to modify a little bit if you can, right? And then you talked about the research, which proves all this, and you said millions of people were in that research. So,
and my longest living patient was 104, and she just passed away.
oh,
But one thing I noticed in all the patients who were over 100, very calm, very peaceful. And all these people have good brains. They are like, they know, they can tell you complete thing, what's happening to their medical illness and everything.
Oh.
Yeah, so they were like totally bright. And like this patient came to me, 98-year-old now turning. So they were started with me maybe 70 or something, but they're 98. So
did you
it's
ever
really-
ask them how they stayed so
Yeah,
calm?
this is it. It's the formula is
Same
that
formula. Okay.
stay calm, happy, and just things are not always going to be the way you want it, but let it be. Definitely,
Let it
it's
be.
okay. But you do what makes you happy. You're responsible for yourself,
Yeah.
your
Yes.
own happiness, your own health. Nobody else's.
Yes, yeah. Because sometimes even stress causes stress eating, right? Or people don't want to do any walking because I'm stressed today. I'm going to just so basically managing reverse way also, it sometimes, has
one of
negative
the
effects,
one
right?
of the things that's going really big on diet changes is plant-based diet. It's really being talked about in every single meetings, international meeting there. And to my surprise, so many patients have moved on to plant-based diet. That doesn't mean you can't eat any meat, but they're eating healthier meat like fish, omega-3, omega-6 that your body doesn't make. They can tell about Luvasa. Those are the kind of some of the supplements that's really necessary for your body. Probiotics that maintain your gut microbiome, and also, so these are the kind of things like diet should be. You can eat whatever you want to eat. Like meat, if you want to eat red meat, let's say you can do without red meat.
Yeah.
It's really bad for your health, period. I'm just telling you here.
Yeah.
But people had the impression that if they don't eat meat, they're not meeting the protein requirement. Because patient often asks me, if I don't going to eat meat, how am I going to meet my meat requirement? So there, I suggest them in Netflix. There is a documentary, Fork Over Knife. Everybody should watch that one time. That will give you a really good idea about that, how the data is showing the healthy plant-based diet.
Yeah,
Uday never used to eat any vegetable, never. And he eats the whole bowl of salad, like every day.
Actually, there's another advantage to plant-based diet, and that is less resources are consumed in producing plant-based diet than in producing meat.
Okay.
So there is a smaller carbon footprint, a smaller amount of resources utilized, and more available for other people in the world. So you are reducing your costs, you are reducing your resource utilization, carbon footprint, and all the damage you are causing to the environment, etc. So it's good for humanity. And as far as the downside of plant-based diet is if you do not plan it correctly, then you may be deficient in, say, protein, and there are ways of getting around it. For example, kale has a reasonably good amount of protein. So you can plan that, or you can have some protein from other sources. Or even have some fish is definitely something that is recommended by a lot of people.
It comes back to what Rashmi says, take ownership, and then
Right.
if you want to do it, you'll do it.
Right.
You know your taste buds are best. Nobody else knows.
And if someone really wants, some people do crave for meat,
Right.
or chicken, or red meat, then maybe quantity
Reduce the
could
portion.
be
Yeah,
reduced.
once in a while
Once
is
in a
okay,
while.
rather than making that your daily main diet.
Yeah.
As some Americans do, they always want to see meat every day.
Yeah.
But that is less and less so now. They are
Yeah.
also understanding that reduce it.
I've never eaten meat, so I don't know what I'm missing, but I'm sure a lot of people
It's
can
like,
do without it.
Yeah, it's like sweets, right? Desserts, right? Like some people want it. So
Sugar is your enemy.
sugar. So the problem is that if you want it, you want it, but then maybe the quantity or the amount can be reduced, right?
Right.
But
Also, the frequency can be reduced. Instead of eating
Yeah,
2-3 times a day, eat 2-3 times a week.
Oh yeah, that's true. Give yourself like a reward at the end of like a
Right.
week, like okay, one day a week or something like
Right.
Just get, these are all the things you can seriously work it out with yourself and with the dietitian and the prescription.
Yeah.
And but it's what I'm saying, it's not hard to do. Me and Uday, I think we eat very healthy diet. That's why we have a lady who can make it for us, because
Fresh
we don't
food.
have time for us. Like one time he said, one of the things to reduce the stress is don't be like, I can do everything. That formula doesn't
that
work.
formula.
You need to know what you love to do, what you like to do, and whatever you can do, what you want it to happen, you can get the help, and where you need the help, that's where you can
Or you can say designate your jobs, right?
designate.
Like if
Yes.
you either use your family or you get resources, higher resources, or
Right. And that's going to be
smaller level.
much more efficient use of your time, and you will be happy, less stressed out, and you will do what you actually enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
But not because you're not enjoying doing something and you need to do it something. Find the alternative way how you can make it happen, so you're able to enjoy it, and you're not doing the bad part of it. I
Yeah.
mean, you're not doing the part that you
That
don't
you
like.
don't like to do.
So
That is very good, and I really like you guys summarized it so well. That
Thank you.
it's all about different things, but again, taking ownership and then maintaining good relationship. I think I really like that, because a lot of people get stressed, and then they don't take ownership of their own health, and it's hard to do anything, improve anything if there's no ownership from your part, right?
More
So-
than health, take ownership of your life.
On your life. Okay, that is summed up.
Thank
you so much.
I would just say one thing. My father was an attorney, and he had played a very big role in my life. And he was a very successful attorney. And one of the things that he taught me, and that I think is the most valuable lesson, is focus where you are the best. So, like for example, in his cases, he will have the munshi prepare the chart, somebody will type it, and then the whole big lawyer's file will come. In one page, there is a message that is the loophole. He'll call it loophole, he'll circle it, and that makes the case win. Same thing in your personal life, your medical life. There's always going to be some things that you
Only
change.
you can do. Yeah.
And you need to learn first a lot about it, and then you'll figure it out. Oh, this is how I'm going to do it. And then you will monitor it with the blood testing. So you'll know that you're getting the results. And once you get the results, you'll see, I can do it. And this is what I see in so many patients. I can do it. It's not hard. And then they keep thanking me, but actually they are the one who's doing
They're
the work.
the ones who are taking ownership of their life.
Yes.
The doctor, they said. Thank you so much, both of you. I'm really happy you guys are here, and it will be very helpful to people to guide them. It's we all looking for guidance sometimes about different aspects of our life, and that's going to be really helpful. Thank you for coming. Thank
But
you.
I will
Thank you
say
for
one thing,
having us,
Sanjana.
Sanjana.
You have taken a very good step. This is like moving forward. It is a very valuable thing because most of the time, as a physician, I can tell you, our times are limited. Not everything, and the patients have a lot of questions, tiny questions, and these videos that you're making will answer those questions.
Yeah.
But also, if you keep maintaining the visits,
Yes.
you will get a lot of answers that you otherwise won't get.
Yeah. Both ways. The physician also has to build relation, and the patient also has to build relation, going with regular visits. And
Can I
since
make
the
feel at ease? It's the physician who should instill that in the patient, that how easy and how important it is for them to monitor
Yes,
their own
yeah.
health. So, because patients don't know,
yeah,
and
you
they
have to
come
guide
scared
them
and they come
sometimes.
afraid and they're fearful, and they don't want to know. A lot of them deny that they have any problems.
That's true.
So acceptance of the fact that they have the disease, and the acceptance of the fact they can do things, simple things, not complicated.
Not complicated. Yeah.
And it's so okay, great.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you, Sanjana.
Okay. Thank you for your
Appreciate
time.
the opportunity, and thanks for having us.
If you wanna talk about anything at all, then you know who to call. Just tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana. Just tell Sanjana.